It's Dames. We're in the iHeartRadio interview space, and I'm joined by Common. Pleasure to have you in here, sir.
Peace, good brother. How you feeling?
I'm fantastic. You know, ever so often there's somebody who comes in here, and I get to sit down and chop it up with that. I'm really delighted to do that with because you've had a pretty profound impact on my life. Going back maybe, you know, my younger days, my college days, you had an album, B, that was out. Yeah, and I had the 210s in the trunk, and it was like, oh, yeah.
You was humping
it was that time. Yeah. You know, I give you, there's two intros on albums that are my favorite. One is T.I.'s.
Yeah.
For King, his King album.
Yeah.
And then there's yours for B.
Man, thank you, bro. I'm honored that you even was rolling, like pumping that joint in your car. Like, man,
very heavy. There was so many jams on there. It was the corner was on there. Obviously, the intro. Go was one of my favorites. Dude, it was incredible. And then to see the transition from the music, because it wasn't too long after that where you started to take over on the big screen and take over in the TV series. You have the best agent in the business. Who's your agent, man? Shout him out.
Hey, man, my agent is God.
I like that answer right there. I like that answer. So we got a lot to get to because you got a new memoir out, obviously. There's music that's coming out at the end of the month. And you're in here in town for a show. Yeah. So where do you want to start?
So, man, let's start with the music, some of the music, because I've been working on new music.
Right.
And this music was inspired. It's called Let Love. It's a new album coming out August 30th.
Right.
And actually, the first single has Daniel Caesar on it. It's called Her Love.
It's Canadian right there. It's from my
out,
neighborhood, actually.
Shout out to Daniel Caesar. That man, he did a beautiful job on that song, Her Love. It's produced by the late, great J Dilla. So I'm excited about the new album itself because it's like a when you talk about B, I'm not saying it's B, but it's like it has the energy of just like a whole complete project, and it has that soul and that spirit that I felt B and my album like Water for Chocolate. Those type of projects have where it's just like a vibe to it, a spirit to it.
Where do you, at this point, get a J Dilla beat from? So
Dilla was my roommate when he passed, right?
Okay.
This my man, like,
yeah.
Like, but I wasn't, you know, he had produced so many great, like, so much great music for me. This was my brother, so I wasn't really keen on doing something once he passed, like doing a song to some of his music. But it was one day, like my lady was like, she was like, you should check this J Dilla beat. You should use this, and it was something that was already out. She was like, this breaking this beat. And I was like, I'm not going to, nah. And I played it for Kareem Riggins, who produced a lot of this album, this new album. And he was like, you know, Dilla made that for you. I was like, what? So it kind of just made me be like, I should use it.
Divine timing.
Yeah, it was divine time. So Kareem Riggins, who produced a lot of the album, had some Dilla beats that were unreleased, and he played a lot of them for me, and I was like, I want to use that one, and I decided to write a song about hip hop, the evolution of hip hop. It's like I Used to Love Her in '94, and it was about hip hop at the time, and now I wanted to release Her Love, which is about how I feel about hip hop right now, and that's the song with Daniel Caesar. It's the Dilla beat.
I would ask you how you feel about hip-hop right now, but it's easy. You could just go listen to the song.
Yeah.
But you said in '94 you dropped that track. You're closing in on 3 decades in the entertainment space.
That's, man, I could just say I'm extremely grateful. I'm like continuing to want to be better and get better. I'm learning from from everybody from John Coltrane to Kendrick Lamar, like, meaning it's like it's so much, and a lot of the new artists, like what I talk about in Her Love is how I respect and like what they doing, man.
Right.
And I respect the culture, and that's what hip hop has always been about. Like, it's people expressing where they are right now. So I love, where hip hop is evolving. I respect it.
Now, there's one thing that I do want to point out to the younger generation, the younger acts. You've been in this thing close to 3 decades. We were talking just a bit off camera. You flew in this morning. You have a show tonight, and you're in town doing press.
Yes.
Before it's midnight, you're going to jump on the bus and be off to the next destination.
Yes, sir.
And my guess is it will be much more of the same. You'll be looking for some sort of media outlet to go there and discuss your movies, your memoir, your album, etc. Talk a bit about the work ethic that's involved and how you can sustain a career for close to 30 years at this point.
Well, I think, it starts with with you as a person also being open and humble enough to know, yo, you can always get better. Even if, okay, you might have like had a hot album, an album that came out and was incredible, a hot single. You might won some Grammys, but the buck, it don't stop there. Like the career don't stop there. You wanna be better. You wanna get better. And that takes like going out, seeking out and growing as an artist. But then along with just what you create and who you are as an artist, your work ethic is the completion of really a successful career, because you gotta like go out and do press, do promo. You gotta go out and talk, and just connect with people, because it's people who you will go out and talk to now. 7 years from now, they'll be like, man, I remember you came and did my show. Right. They might be the head of the iHeartRadio. You might be the head of iHeartRadio.
Yeah. Put that in the universe. I like that. I like that talk.
Yeah. But it's just part of that is it also not only just going to do press, but it's also like, man, treating people with respect and coming in and like, one thing I learned, I gotta say this, like when I started doing more film and television work, it's a different culture as far as being on time. Doing it's like the real world. It's like not that music time where you late and all that.
Right.
And that professionalism, is something that I feel like a lot of us as artists have to apply to, because it's effective, man. People don't like dealing with people that's late all the time, and they're gonna want to make the choice, and that can affect your career and your business.
Right. It's funny that you say that, and you mentioned artistry and development as an artist, and we'll move into that. But I want to touch on that television and film career that you kind of went into, and what you just said there. It's vastly different from this side of the entertainment business, right? Because the music side employs a little bit less people as opposed to the television and or film side. Like you get on a film set, there could be 300-400 people working there, and one person slows the entire lineup, which costs the budget another day worth of production, right?
Dude, like on a movie set, it's hundreds of people working, and then
you can't even fathom. It's without if you've never been on a set.
Yeah,
it's crazy the amount of people. Like just sit down. The next film you go to see, sit down and actually read the credits and see how many people are on set.
When you read the credits, you see like, man, it could be up to thousands of names once you see the credits.
Absolutely,
honestly, because once you get into people who finance, like who've worked in accounting, who did catering,
the coffee guy, the gaffer, the gopher.
It's so many people. That being said, man, every moment you late, it could cost. That could be tens of thousands of dollars up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just like if you waiting around, those hours tend to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you paying.
Right. That's
so many people. And though you might not think of it as your money, that's the thing. We don't always think of it like, man, this is our money, because you wasting somebody else's money. You don't think of it as yours, but ultimately those people won't want to come back to you for work. Like I've literally sat in producers' offices, and they told me of artists who just sat in the trailer and waited around smoking blunts and stuff, and they like, man, this is costing me a lot of money.
Not the level of professionalism they expected.
Nah, and I kind of honestly felt like, as an artist and an actor, but somebody coming from the music industry, I wanted to also set a different tone and culture, like so that they can tell other stories, because he was telling me stories, and he was kind of just basically trying to get a feel and see if I was like going to be one of those dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, man, this is, I take this really serious as an actor, just in general, beyond just me being a musician. But also I want to set the tone so other people who really want to get into filmmaking and television, it's not a bad stink on
open
musicians.
The door for another generation who are looking to transition and do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Common, thank you so much for stopping by, man. It's been a great chat. Real pleasure for me. If you guys are in the city tonight, he's performing at the Queen Elizabeth Theater. Make sure you check that out. New album, August 30th, and the memoir is out right now. You can get it on Audible, Amazon. You know the deal.
Yes, sir. Peace, y'all. Love.